Live from New York City, it's the Gary Null Show. And now, your host, Gary Null.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Null. Nice to have you with us today. We begin our journey into health and healing with a study from the Walter and Elisa Hall Institute in Australia. They talk about leafy green vegetables can boost gut immunity, help your good bacteria. The new study finds that dietary factors, in particular consumption of cruciferous leafy vegetables, and I know many of you are taking cruciferous vegetables every day. You know what they are: broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, kale, mustard greens, radishes, watercress. These are terrific for you. They're loaded up with nutrients called isothiocyanates. And these help block cancer from forming in the first place. And if you have cancer, prevent them from spreading and actually reduce your cancer, especially if you're using the cruciferi on a daily basis. And we should be. But unfortunately, we're not. You won't find any of the cruciferi vegetables in any of the fast foods that we commonly eat. You'll find some useless, worthless iceberg lettuce. It's the one lettuce you should not consume. You should consume the green leafy vegetables, and especially the lettuces such as microgreens and sprouts that have the most nutritional value. But in any case, if you're consuming your cruciferous vegetables according to the Walter and Elisa Hall Institute in Australia, Research Institute, then you are activating vital immune cells through the activation of a particular gene known as T-BET, B-E-T. Now, these immune cells, known as innate lymphoid cells, play a vital role in protecting the body from infection by bad pathogenic bacteria in our gut. They've also been suspected to play an important role in combating food allergies, inflammatory disease, and obesity, and even bowel cancers like colorectal cancer. And this was published in the peer-reviewed journal Nature Immunology. And here's what they say. In this study, they discovered that the T-BET response is the key gene that instructs precursor cells to develop into ILCs, which it does in response to signals in the food we eat and the bacteria in the gut. Meaning, in lay language, if you're eating your broccoli, and you should, and cauliflower, and that's very important as well, and even trying some of it in juice, then what's happening is you're getting all this enacted in the intestine and turning on a lot of positive genes that give you positive bacteria and protect you from disease and strengthen your overall immune system. So that's good. Remember, the stronger your immunity, the greater you're able to deal with inflammation. And inflammation, and unfortunately, is frequently produced by a hormone called interleukin 22, and which can protect the body by invading bacteria. There's interleukin 1, interleukin 6. This happens to be a different interleukin on how it manifests. Most of the interleukins are pro-inflammatory and destroy everything, and this is not the case. So we're just now starting to understand, according to them, in their own language, how these immune cells are regulating allergies, helping prevent them, inflammation, helping turn it down, and the implications for bowel cancer and gastrointestinal disorders like Crohn's disease are important. So, healthy gut from a healthy diet and lots of cruciferous vegetables, stronger immune system, better digestion. Now, from another study, and this is from the Diagnostic Center for Disease, there's a 95% cure rate for prostate cancer in men treated with high-intensity focused ultrasound. Now, this is in Sarasota, Florida, not far from where I'm at, and a Florida-based diagnostic center for disease, in conjunction with the Pan Am Health Group, released data showing a 95% cure rate using high-intensity focused ultrasound in more than 200 patients at more than over a 7-year period post-treatment. This group of patients had biopsies proven prostate cancer in conjunction with a 3.2 Tesla magnetic resonance imaging spectrometry scan, and they found that this worked. So one more thing that we can put into our puzzle of how to treat different diseases. And so this is not done, you don't get those results in normal treatment, standard treatment. By the way, about approximately 700,000 American men receive a negative prostate biopsy result, and approximately 25% of these results are false negative. Under the current standard of care, prostate biopsy procedures collect 10 to 12 needle biopsies cores on average, effectively a sampling a size of about 1% of the man's prostate. This approach leaves men at risk for hidden cancer, leading to a high rate of repeat biopsies, often on cancer-free men, which hinders or delays an application of a procedure with this high rate of cure. Specifically, the MRI-S scan allows for an enhancement of the various diagnostic discrimination factors, including evidence of extracapsular extension, dominance of cancer in the side-to-side assessment, and true density of tissue based upon diffusion weight imaging sequence and dynamic contrast enhancement. So all these are just a better way, and they've developed this. Hopefully this spreads across the country, because you want to be properly diagnosed, yes, but then also properly treated. And finally, from the International Union of Forest Research in Austria, forest reduce health risks. Now, for those of us who've lived in nature, and another study, do you feel better being around nature, around trees and springs and lakes and forests? I do. In fact, my entire adult life, I've lived either on a farm, the Fertler Farm, or a ranch, the Healing Springs Ranch, the Villa Ranch, or down here in Florida at the Paradise Ranch. It requires a lot of work. If you live there, it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's 7 days a week, lots of responsibilities, but you get in return an enormous amount of benefit. And it's not me saying that. There's a new study from the International Union of Forest Research Organizations in Austria saying that forests reduce health risks. Forests, trees, and green spaces play a vital role in ensuring a healthy life for everyone on the planet. The health benefits of forests and green trees, ranging from physical and mental well-being to overall reduction in death, far outweigh the adverse effects on health. As health threats such as forest fires are mainly caused by human activities, urgent action is needed. In order to address health challenges, it's important to recognize the close links between human health and the health of other species, the ecosystems, and the planet as a whole. One of the things I do when I'm counseling people who are sick is I don't focus upon the disease. Instead, I focus upon what is necessary to rebalance the internal ecosystem, the immune system, the thought systems, and the emotional systems, taking a perception that is out of balance and refocusing it so we have a clear focus of our problem and, most importantly, our solutions. And being a part of nature, getting out, spending time reading, meditating, singing, jogging, power walking, all of these are important. When people go on a camping trip into the woods, that's a good thing. When you're walking the Appalachian Trail, that's a better thing. Challenging, but great, even part of it. I grew up in West Virginia. I grew up in a small city. The entire county of Wood County only had 40,000 residents. We had one big high school that we all attended, a couple junior high schools, only a couple. So we knew everyone from early in life right through till we graduated and went off to college. I even went to college for the first college I attended in my hometown because I wanted to get an education in business. Why? Because I saw the people who had crafts and skills And that's what most people had. Most people, when I graduated from high school, had never gone to college. The vast majority had never gone to college. No one in my family had. I was the first person in our family who went to a college. Yeah, in our whole history. We were farmers. We were Quakers. We were the peaceful people, the nonviolent people who cultivated the ecosystems of the Shenandoah Valley. We were also Native American, and the healing that I got, I won't go into all my background, but one of the things we all did, we had Girl Scouts, we had Boy Scouts, we had Cub Scouts, Sea Scouts, Order of the Arrow, and then from there, you went on to become a Life Scout or an Eagle Scout. You spent time in nature. You studied nature. You understand the different trees. You could go into any forest and acknowledge the difference between an oak tree and a sycamore, a spruce and a pine. You knew them. We even knew how to work with them. We took shop. We learned crafts. I learned how to in shop. I learned, and my uncle, who is a person who loved working with wood, I learned how to work with wood. In fact, to this day, in a place out here, it's called a tiki hut. It's made by the Seminoles, and in it, all the furniture I made 50 years ago out of cherry wood. It's still there today. And so we learned how to use our hands, our minds, how to positively adapt to our environments. And my parents said, the day will come when more people go to college, but when they get out, they're still just going to have a job, a banker, whatever it is. Why don't you go to business college so you learn how to manage your money? You don't spend things you don't need. I'd already been taught that. All of you, every one of you who had a family that grew up in the Great Depression, my parents did, and were in the Second World War. Mine were, I'm sure many of yours were. You used your family's hand-me-downs. I got my older brothers, and my younger brother got my clothes. My mother sewed them up. I learned sewing that way. I would later do the same for my friends. We learned to be self-sufficient. We didn't have trigger words. We dealt with life as it was. It was an important part of our journey. And part of it was the system of our beliefs, our values. That's where we developed character, morals, manners, respect for others, and the uniqueness of differences. We prided ourselves. My family did, my neighbors did, on having someone who came from a different country or different ethnicity. And we learned about that. We were curious, like children. Kids are curious about everything. Why can't we keep that curiosity as adults? Some do, most don't. The older you get, the less curious you become. So I saw this, and that's why I went to the business college and graduated. I'm glad I did, because I'm able to do this show because of that background, not what I learned in college. What I learned in college and dietetic school, graduating in nutrition, BS and science and PhDs and all that, that would help me better understand how to help you make better choices with your body. But nothing that we're taught prepares us for all the transitions we make in life. And one of the most important transitions you can make is keep part of your life attached to nature. We had a whole group of great people. Thoreau was a vitalist. Montaigne was a vitalist. Maimonides was a vitalist. You have to have a sense of vitalism, the life force, the chi that the Orient gave us. Vital life force. Engage it, embrace it, and therefore you don't adapt. You transcend problems. You transcend simple conscious concepts. You look beyond the mob, beyond the rule of the mob, beyond consensus. You look for the unique truths that allow you to understand life. And that's why spend time in nature. All right? Make time for it. It balances out your mind, your emotions, your temperament, and certainly helps your body. That's it for our health and nutrition today. And remember, a lot of people are now aware, thousands are going to Gary Null YouTube or Rumble and going to Gary Null Film Library or Odysee, and they're downloading what is called our Classrooms on the Air. And I just did one today on stem cells. It's about 22 minutes long. It gives you the best insight you could possibly have about how to regenerate your stem cells, make them youthful again so you keep your youth, live a longer life. All right? It's free. It's good quality information. It's not political. It's not controversial. It's all backed up by good science. And I use the citations in the commentary. So take some time and get a real classroom on the air. And it's every day. It's there. And there are hundreds that are already there if you are just now starting. So go to Gary Null YouTube and see the current and all the previous classroom on the air. I deal with all the issues of life. And I don't deal with politics, nothing controversial on that. But also on YouTube, Rumble, and on Odysee. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back because we're going to take a break because we have a whole lot more program coming at you. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about how clues to healthy brain aging. We're going to look at a Bolivian Amazon study from the University of Southern California. Did the indigenous communities understand how to use what they have available to slow down the aging process? That's on tomorrow's program. Back in a moment. Please stay with us.
Are you tired of closed-minded programming? Well, look no further than PRN.Live, the home for progressive voices.